Save our children. The ultimate cost to a family of 7, losing their loving mum because of all the stress and trauma that arises from the impact of being involved with social services. We'll come back to those in a minute, mate. Another family broken, another family being torn and pushed in different directions. How you doing, Bill?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, in Leicester Square today in London. How are we all doing? Can I get some people's attention, please? Because I would like to raise some serious awareness that most of you guys, being parents, should know what is going on within the UK. Guys, can I get a few of you guys' attention? Because this is serious awareness of the heinous crimes that are going on towards families in the UK. Guys, this is serious stuff. You don't realise how serious it is. It could affect your children. Your children could be taken from your loving home. Guys, I never thought it possible, but believe you me, I found out some sick things that you would never find out unless you go and look for it. Guys, I'll tell you a little bit about my story, right? I come into contact with one of the most corrupt, heinous organisations that the UK have got working under the government, okay? And that organisation working under the government is an organisation called Children's Services, okay? Children are being stolen in the UK at an alarming rate, right? You do not understand to what level that children are being stolen in the UK, right? This is sickening for most people to get their head around, and I can understand why some people think, you know what, it's never going to happen to me, but you know what, every single one of you is a potential victim of the Children's Services. You do not realise how these guys operate. They don't tell the truth in their reports, and I can tell you what information that I learned through coming into contact with these guys. These guys come into my life and they wrote a report. And the report was a report for child protection. And when they wrote this report, it was like it was wrote about someone completely different. I never understood how you could in general write a report when you're writing a report about somebody's child and you could be telling lies all the way through it. It was more fictitious than what Roald Dahl. And Roald Dahl was if people don't know, he was basically a writer of many books. He was an author. Right, so Roald Dahl wrote books. Social workers tell lies in reports like fictitious books. Basically, that made me start looking into social services related groups on Facebook, because people turned around and said to me, there's many other parents in the same position as myself. I started looking into a good few things, and to be honest with you guys, I couldn't believe what I was finding. I was finding many parents, like myself, all saying the same thing, and I'm thinking, you know what, they can't all be lying. I know I'm not lying. The social workers are lying in the reports. When I say lying, they're lying at all costs, and not just lying, if there's some truths, they twist it and magnify it to the point it's like a horror story. I welcome some of you guys to come over and read some of these posters we have on the floor, or banners on the floor, so you can see what I'm actually talking about. because there's many parents in the UK that have lost their children, right? And many of these children have been placed for forced adoption. Forced adoption is not with the parents' will, and the parents are fighting to keep their children. But social workers will tell lies continuously in their reports to remove these poor, loving children from innocent families. There's many of these families here, as you can see here now in front of me. None of these are my family, but some of these are the people that I've worked with, and some people that we know of as well. So guys, if lying to steal the children is acceptable, then by all means, you're obviously as bad as what a social worker is, because to be honest with you, it shouldn't take a lie to remove a child. At the end of the day, if you're about protecting a child, you shouldn't tell lies to do it. Guys, I wouldn't be in the middle of Leicester Square today talking, trying to raise the awareness to you guys if I didn't care. I want you guys to know, so when you go home, you're armed with some information that's very important, right? Because if your child falls off a swing in a park, the social services could be contacted by the hospital. The hospital can contact. That's just enough to get them in your life. Then they'll start an investigation. If there's any learning difficulties in your family, they will then start working on that. And then basically they're looking for a child that has not been abused, right? Social services look for children that have not been abused. I'm not lying to you, because an ideal child has not been abused, because an ideal child doesn't need work. Same as like when you go to a kennels to get a dog for rehoming, and you see a nice little puppy, fluffy puppy next door, and then you see a dog that's been abused. You're going to go for the fluffy puppy because you know that dog is not going to need the work doing to it. Children are exactly the same to social services, right? You're not going to believe it, because the ideal child placed for adoption is not a child that's been abused, right? And your child is worth £32,500 to each local authority, right? I'm not joking with you. This is all proven stuff. I'm being straight with you, right? A social worker, when they get their job, their actual incentive is set down from the government, right? They get
Performance bonus and bonus scheme.
Not that part yet. We ain't got there, right? What they actually get, they get a removal quota. Each local authority gets told they have to remove so many children in their local authority. When I say local authority, I'm talking about your local councils. That could be Camden Council, that could be Lambeth Council, that could be Sutton or Croydon, that could be Wimbledon, Merton, any of them councils. I'm just talking in general, right? They can set quotas then to remove so many children in the UK, right? The government is sending them out each year to remove more and more. So now, you want to understand something, because at the end of the day, a social worker, when they go for their job, one of the incentives of it is a paid performance-related bonus to remove children. Paid performance-related bonus. I'm telling you now, how can anyone put a paid performance-related bonus with a children's services worker? Aren't they supposed to be there to protect children anyway? They shouldn't be getting a paid performance-related bonus. But however, each local authority have been given a quota each year to remove more and more children. They're setting government targets. Government are setting targets to the local authorities. Guys, I'm not telling you this for no reason. I'm telling you so you're armed with information, because you know what? Children at £32,500 is very profitable for every person that works in the local authority, because they get a paid performance related bonus once they reach their quota of the amount of children they place for adoption. Guys, I'm not here talking for no reason. I'm here to arm you guys and give you some knowledge of what the children's services are doing in the UK. Many parents are scared to come out and talk. Many of them have been gagged. I've not been gagged. But many parents have been gagged. They won't come out and talk because they're too scared. They've lost hope. They feel shame. The guys shouldn't feel shame if they've done nothing wrong. But these people are bowing their heads because they're too scared to come out. I've come out into Leicester Square today and there's hundreds and hundreds of people walking around. And I want to raise the awareness. And I'm glad some of you guys are stopping to read some of our banners and posters and get some of the awareness of what's going on within the UK. But when you look at your grandchildren tonight, or the pictures of your grandchildren, or the pictures of your children, and think to yourself, you know what, my child could be gone if a social worker comes into my life to tell lies. They have to tell the lies to do it, because they don't get up in the morning and think they're going to do a good job. Because if somebody gets up in the morning and knows full well they're getting up to tell lies, right? They're getting up, they've all their socks on in the morning, and they're saying to each other, what we're doing today, we're going to tell as many lies as we can to disrupt a family and remove a loving child from an innocent family. Guys, this is not something I could get around my head around, because I can't understand how any human being can set out to destroy a family through telling lies. If you're coming out to protect the child from the family because there's neglect or abuse, then by all means come out and do it. It doesn't take lies to remove a child, but social workers, they use lies to remove children. Guys, I hate to tell you, last year 178,000 children since the pandemic kicked in went missing in the UK. These were taken by Children's Services. No one don't know now where 178,000 children are. Right? That's not one of your socks, that's not one of your gloves that have fallen out of your pocket, that's not the £10 note that's fallen out of your pocket when you've gone to the bar. This is a loving, living being, this is a child that has gone missing. More important than anything else in the world. Because they're more important than me, they're more important than you. Children are more important than every single body, because you know why they're more important? They are the next generation. They're the ones that carry on what we're doing today, they carry on it afterwards. Guys, 178,000 children went missing in the UK last year alone. That's a massive number. That's not one, that's not two, that's 178,000, that's nearly 200,000. Guys, many of you guys are parents, I guess. Obviously you won't be okay with this. So at the end of the day, I welcome you all to come up and have a read of these signs and posters and banners and read what's the information on these things, because many of these guys are innocent parents. Parents are killing themselves because at the end of the day they can't believe Children's Services have lied in the reports to remove their children. When I say they're killing themselves, there was 3 at the beginning of this year. I actually talked one down as well myself, because I run the children's support page for parents that have lost their children. Right? My support page is Social Services Stop Stealing Our Children with Your Lives. And basically my group there, we offer support to all other parents that have lost their children. Right? And it says it in itself, the name of the group is Social Services Stop Stealing Our Children with Your Lives. Because at the end of the day, that's not acceptable. If you're doing it through truth and you're taking the child through truth, then fair enough, I'll put my hands up to that. Right? But at the end of the day, if you have to tell a lie to remove a child from its loving family, to destroy a family at all costs, it's not acceptable, guys. Guys, this is major stuff. And at the end of the day, I would not be standing here on the pavement today in Leicester Square talking to you guys if this wasn't going on. If you'd have said to me 2 years ago that I'd be in Leicester Square talking on the microphone, I'd have told you were lying, because I never would have had the courage to get up and do this. But through going through the most corrupt, heinous organisation and through the family courts of witnessing what's going on, and then working with so many parents in the UK, it's opened my eyes, right? I might have sunglasses on, but my eyes are wide open. Right? Because at the end of the day, how many of you guys are parents? How many of you guys have got loving children? You know, you need to know this information, because if a Children's Services come into your life, they will work at all costs to remove your children. Yeah, guys, it's mental. But like I said, 178,000 children have been removed during the pandemic, and they all went missing. 178,000. Ask yourself a question. Where's 178,000 children gone? It's disgusting. They're not a pair of socks. They're not one of your gloves that's fallen out of your pocket on your way to work. 178,000 children have gone missing. Right? So if 178,000 children go missing, people, come on. They're not a £10 note when you've gone to the bar. Right? They're not your socks that have gone missing in your laundry. You know, they're not something you've lost on the way to the shops. They're a living being. They could be this high, they could be this high, they could be this high. And they're gone. No one knows where they're gone. The government needs to explain this to people, to be honest with you. Children are going missing at an alarming rate in the UK. And to be honest with you, some are going for forced adoption, but then some have gone missing completely. No one even knows where they're gone. And this is absolutely disgusting, people. Thank you.
You're right, Bill. We'll turn back. Kincora Boys Home. They won't believe it.
Yeah, well, we got a friend who actually knows about it. He's here.
You tell people
He's actually
making it up, it doesn't make sense, does it?
No, they don't. But that's the thing. Living proof. This gentleman's talking to us about Kincora. Yeah, Bill. We'll talk about basically.
Good luck, mate.
Thanks, fella. Yeah, I wasn't too sure. I wasn't sure. I was thinking it might be a fault.
What was his accent, John?
Ladies and gentlemen, a few of my friends are here today to actually bring about awareness about what is happening in this so-called nation called Great Britain towards the family unit, towards children and their parents. We are living in a country that's supposed to have the most civil and democratic state, but I'm telling you from personal experience, it doesn't match up to that. The system that has been designed by the very people that are elected into power are the very corruptors of our civil setting and democracy, who are pitting local authorities to invest in social services, to steal, abduct children, regardless of the reasons. These reasons are pathetic in many cases, but they are taking children. Last year alone, during COVID, they brought in emergency measures that saw allegedly 178,000 children disappear in Britain. Disappear. Where are 178,000 children during a 14-month period? Where did those
Guys,
children
please share the
disappear
life out
during
this
our
video.
Commonwealth? But this is what
live
they are
video.
doing. This so-called government that people are elected through your votes are using their position and their seats to actually, through conspiracy, because they're conspirators, they're basically looking to take children for money, big money. An average adoption, the local authority can get £32,000 upwards for a child, the head of a child. That is a lot of money per child. Think about what I just said. During COVID, 178,000 children alone disappeared during this so-called pandemic. They used it ultimately as their leverage. This so-called government and its local authorities, all these officials that are in public office, that are in the public's trust, are exploiting our very trust. They're exploiting more than anyone our children. They're exploiting our kids for profits. They are using what they call future emotional harm. And tell you who brought that in? Tony Blair. The same very man has sent comrades of mine to their deaths in Iraq. Sent men and women to their deaths over basically their own greed, what they facilitate an organised arrangement for their benefit. They are basically pitting social workers for performance bonuses and bonus schemes to top up their actual low income and their low working week, to actually take the steps that are needed to facilitate the targets, the actual targets that are set by the government. The UK government set targets to the local authority. Each local authority has to actually keep a conveyor going. Children, like in the actual video of Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall, a conveyor belt of children. They had to have more and more every year to meet the actual quota and the demand through the actual agencies, fostering, adoption agencies. The workers that actually enter into those and actually create more and more of these and expand within them are very much the workers. They could be sat on panels, they could be the actual social worker, the team leaders, the senior management, head of services. They are all interlinked, and this is one of the biggest trafficking networks you will ever, unfortunately, come to know of. We think that the problems are in other countries, third world and so on. They're right here on your very doorstep. This is why, as a former member of Her Majesty's Armed Forces, I turn around and say to any current serving member of Her Majesty's Armed Forces and any former member, any veteran, the time is now for us to stand, yeah, all together. Because you see what's happening? They are trying to divert our attentions, yeah, all day long from what they are doing in our own backyard. And what they're doing And two-part is key. The two biggest things are arms sales and trafficking. Yeah, trafficking of children. These are very productive, and the children, as we as parents going through this, know through. I've been doing this just under 10 years, and I'm basically telling you, this is staggering. And what I need everyone to do, anyone that's been serving, anyone that's current, stand up for basically what is right in Great Britain, because this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be at the backbone of what is right in Great Britain, but it ain't great. And I'll tell you why, because our own elected government officials are the very people picking the local authorities and the social work departments they employ to steal these children in mine. 8.5 years, and I get told in an email that my daughter, after 8.5 years, is being adopted. One of my daughters with Down syndrome. Why? Why? Why can't she remain in long-term foster care whilst we come up with a solution with these people on an amicable level, yeah? One where we can actually come to the interest of the child at heart. No. I'll tell you why no, because it's the money. It's the money they get. That's why I've spent 8.5 years fighting an actual system. I'd rather go to Afghanistan and fight in Afghanistan, because at least I know what's coming there. But what these people do to us, what they pit against us as a family, and what they do to my kids and my former partner and me, I'm surprised I'm standing here and I haven't done something to myself, because it's like putting your head in a microwave. What they do is systematic and psychological, and it's called warfare. The actual departments, the scientific elements, like what they do with COVID, they implement this in other ways, like this, psychological, on you. They basically can make you think that you are a threat to your own children, that you're a threat to yourself, that you are a threat into the future if you have another child. That's what these people are doing. It's psychological.
Guys, can you please share this live as much as possible, share it far and wide. We're causing some attention today. Look, that's what we come out to do. We're trying to raise the awareness today.
Of near enough 10 years. 10 years with these people coming backwards and forwards between like dogs with their tails between their legs, stealing other people's children right under our noses.
You'd be surprised how many people this is happening to in the UK.
And my kids, yeah? And we get to talk.
One of the guys we work with is an ex-police officer, even himself has had a load of his children taken as well.
Biggest eye-opener that a person can
178,000 of them last year in
the
UK.
Through what people tell you when you get phone calls, messaging one another and hearing one another's stories.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Systematic.
But I've also heard about Masonic ritual abuse, Satanic ritual abuse, Illuminati stuff that's going on as well. We've also been told by somebody who was at a meeting a little while ago, today we've been told this, who was at a meeting, a bankers meeting when she was working, and they were talking about the money that adoption agencies were making from sending them children.
Against the normal setting of decency.
I nearly threw up when I got told that.
Character, they are pitting themselves against the family, finding reasons.
What's more important than us,
against children as an individual, like as if it's a personal thing, for money, to actually get more money, because they're being encouraged to do it by their senior level corporate state. That is the head of services, those that are actually investing in the local authority in that service, right down to the management. Upper management, mid-management, down to supervisor, then social worker. But the social workers don't realise what they're actually trafficking.
Sorry.
Yeah? Because they don't realise what is going to happen to those children. They don't know. Once the child goes out of their care into the lap of another team, into another area, let's say, that don't become their case now. That don't become, therefore, that child's no longer their concern, their issue. And I would say they are a face, they are a number. They may talk to the child, they may be on first name terms with the child, but they are just another face, another number, making money for them. And when they have no idea where that child's gone, and when that system then finally has that child adopted, they have no guarantee. You as a parent have no guarantee of ever knowing what's going to happen to your child, where your child will be for the next, like my daughter Marissa is coming up to 9 next month, yeah? I've got to wait, what,
9 years, another 9 years, to be a part of my daughter's life. Why? Because of their fucking lies. Because they are willing to lie. Because they're willing to sell themselves out for extra money. That's why I'm swearing. Because I'm angered. I'm upset. I'm upset because of what they've done to a family of 6. And they can do it to anyone's family. Tomorrow, next week, they just walk into your lives, knock at your door, and if you turn around and say to them, who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you coming to my door as a social worker? You're not the police. You ain't got the right to come in when you're telling me, oh, we've got the right to come here and enter into your home and see why you've got something to hide. No, you ain't got nothing to hide. You're a parent protecting your home and your children from an unknown official. The police don't even have the right to behave like this, but social workers are given free rein to do what they like.
Guys, we're doing the job today.
With them, which is playing into their hands, they then use obstruction against you. Social workers using obstruction, but you are not allowing them to do their jobs, and therefore you're preventing them finding reason in your home to make a report time and time again over the period that they will be involved in your life to use against you, to pit against you and your children. That's exactly what they're doing. So one family to the next to the next. And whilst we're standing here speaking, I can tell you right now, whilst I'm talking to you, I can tell you this is happening right now. Right at that moment, right this minute, in the next 2 minutes,
the child's been removed.
There are officials called social workers turning up at people's houses, thinking they're police, and think they've got the right to enter your house without warrant, and put their foot in your door and press themselves into your life, and if you resist them, you are basically with something to hide. No, every person has the right to defend their home. Every person has the right to protect themselves and their family. This government allows them to get away with it because the money that they are making, these power elites are all in it. The Masonic Circle, I just got told earlier, right? Holborn Lodge is just down the road, the Masonic Circle. Chatting with a lady near Downing Street. She told me that she got invited to a building in London, turned out to be Holborn. I said, right, tell me whereabouts. What do you remember? She couldn't. I took her through it. It was the Masonic Lodge. Down in a dungeon setting, they held a meeting with bankers. And what they wanted to find out ultimately about in this Masonic Lodge, the Freemasons, is how much money are we making from this actual, this productive scam of taking people's children, yeah? Adoption agency, how much are we making? Fostering agency, how much are we making? That's what apparently she witnessed as a mother. She told me this earlier on. I wasn't shocked, but I was taken back a bit. But this is what is going on right now. They are entering other people's lives right now as we speak. They'll go into a ward, into a hospital right now, and they'll be doing this right now as I speak to you. To a newborn baby and a mother. I know of a lady in Cardiff. She was a psychology student. She passed out with honours. And because she's a psychology degree graduate, they've got to work harder against her. She wanted to breastfeed her baby. She's a middle class lady, she's eating what's right. They didn't want her to breastfeed her baby. What happened? Took away her baby, yeah? When she stood up for what she believed was right. That lady gets to see her little baby that's growing up once maybe every month. Yeah, but the actual partner, because he decided to work against her, because this is how they work their actual magic. They will work a parent against the other, the weaker parent against the stronger parent, because they take the weaker parent under their umbrella, under their arm, and work them against the other parent. He was the weaker one out of the two in the couple relationship. So she, being the stronger, has lost her rights to be around her child because he was willing to sell her out. But I understand he wants to protect his rights and that of his daughter. We understand that, those facts. But he wasn't right to do what he's done. And it is immoral. Should have just turned around and got in the papers, should have gone to whoever will listen and work together against the social work. That mum, I've had to stop her committing suicide. I have to do this near enough every month. Stop parents committing suicide every month. I'm not trained.
What you've got to do.
I just use logic and common sense and empathy. I use considerate thought and soul from here. to save one parent to the next from going down that road, or whilst they're so desperate on that phone from taking their very life. Why should that be happening in this country? We're supposed to be the most democratic country, we're supposed to be the most civil country, we're so tolerant that we're too tolerant, and that's why this is happening. And I'm tired. But you know what, I'll find the energy. I'll still try and do what's bloody right, because that's the right thing to do. To stand up and not let these people continue winning against our decency, our setting of what is right in this nation. How dare they think they've got the ultimate right to take children by false accusations, by excuses, take what you say out of context, what I say, and exploit it, exaggerate upon it, amplify it. That's normal, and I'll tell you why it's normal, because they're being encouraged to do it as part of their training process. It is part of their internal structured training to actually work psychologically against each household that they are brought to the door of. And it doesn't matter the reason. You could have given your kid an ice cream from an ice cream bar, and maybe your kid had a reaction from the actual 100,000s, maybe an allergic reaction, and they think that you have failed to administer proper parental control. What, over ice cream? Because we know it has happened, yeah? And they've taken the child. Another example, in Scotland, and this is one of the biggest stories, a father and son, young boy, basically taken for that. People do listen, people do relate, they know. When you're telling the truth, they know, right? A parent says to his son, correction, the son says to his dad, chuck me the remote. The dad throws the remote control, according to the story. The remote control hits the child on the face. Following day, the child is at school and has a bruising. The teacher picks up on this. It then goes from the teacher to the head or the deputy, to then calling the social work. Social work then come round, think right, no, we're not chancing it, because of what's happened with the cases of baby Peter Connolly, you know him as Baby P, and Victoria Cooney. This is why they are doing what they're doing, more so, but even greater because of the actual bonuses, the performance bonus and bonus schemes that they get entered onto to take more children and prolong them in the system. So you have basically that father and his wife or partner lose their children, and I heard a year on that there was 4 children still in the system a year on. Why? I'll tell you why. Because once it gets past 3, once it gets past 4, 6, that's 3. That's when it starts.
Battery's going. On there it's gone, the microphone.
What's that?
Microphone's gone.
Oh, the battery?
Yeah.
Right. Well, basically that's what it is. They've pitted against family after family, like we're saying. It's got to a point of unbelievable. We know because we're going through it. That's why.